Hey, all right, welcome back to Raff's Brain, a show about things that are interesting to me. I am your host, Rob Rafferty. Thank you so much for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my tens of loyal listeners across the land, aka the Brainiacs. You know what time it is. It's time for another episode of Drive and Jive. Yeah, this is the stream of content of the Raff's Brain podcast where on a road trip, I set the camera up on my dashboard, turn it on myself, and hit record and share some thoughts that occur to me as I make my way across the land. So where am I coming from today? You might ask. You might wonder. And the answer is I'm returning from a road trip. This is the return voyage from a beautiful region of the country. It's like western North Carolina and northeastern South Carolina. Is that right? I don't even know my geography, man. All I know is I was in or around the cities of Greenville, South Carolina, and Asheville, North Carolina, and everywhere in between. And it is a beautiful, beautiful, remarkable part of our country. I had never been there before, and I had no idea that such extraordinary views and lots of nice views. It reminded me a lot of West Virginia, where I'm from, man. Like, there were mountains, there was fresh air, there was water, there was rivers running through every town, and like, it's just a really nice vibe down there. And man, I can't believe it took me so long to get to that area. The motive for this entire tour was my wife giving the commencement address at Warren Wilson College. Who is Warren Wilson? I don't know. I got to Google that. I still got to figure that out. But this guy was pretty awesome because he set up an extraordinary college. I'm assuming he's the founder of the college or he has something to do with the college. I should look into it. But it's not your normal college. It's small, so it's under 1,000 students, undergrad and graduate combined. But what makes it unique, it's kind of a liberal arts, very rural setting, very picturesque. They've got like over 1,000 acres, so it's really nice. But it's called a working college. There are only 10, quote-unquote, working colleges in the United States. This is some information I learned over the weekend when I met with various officials and faculty and students at Warren Wilson. And part of the ethos of this college is that every student is going to be, in addition to learning in the classroom, out experiencing and engaging in some constructive, value-creating exercise for the benefit of the school. There's a working farm on this school, and that's probably what's the most unique about it. Pigs and cows and all sorts of farm life. And many of the students are out there raising those animals to go to market, and you kind of learn those interesting skills that many people overlook these days, in addition to your classroom education. So it's kind of a unique vibe. It's a quirky place. You know, during the commencement ceremony, which was extraordinary, it was really a perfect day, beautiful weather. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold. The sun was not out super bright. We were outside, and it was beautiful, everything about it. The student speaker did a fantastic job, and in part of her remarks, she basically said, Warren Wilson is such a great community, and it enables people to be weird. So, like, it lets people be themselves, and that's a nice thing. Who doesn't like to be around a community where people are authentic and kind and hardworking, right? So I dug it. I thought it was a pretty cool vibe. But let me back up a second, because that's not where I first went. So here's the deal. My wife flew down. I drove down. Now, I had a couple different motives. I left on Wednesday afternoon to go to that area because I had a friend that lives down there. His name's John. John is one of the quote-unquote OGs, the original gangsters of the Buchanan area. John Herron, Cody Holland, Nathan Gower, and myself. There are probably some other honorary OGs, Gabe Klingon-Smith. There might, if we really extend this out, we could have Cam Tenney, Jacob Ox, Matt Menendez. There was a good number of us. We were pretty much in the same vicinity, but let's just, dial it in, because really the OGs, Nathan, Cody, Raff, Heron, are the ones that still keep in touch a lot via text messages and such. Of course, Cody Holland has been on the Raff's Brain podcast multiple times as a guest of Riffin' with Raff. Long story short, I have not seen, although I've communicated with John as part of our OG's chat, I've not seen this guy in person, in the flesh, for over 25 years. That's remarkable. But we still keep in touch, and that's kind of wild to imagine. It's been so long. But when my wife got this invitation, and a few weeks out, I said, I think John lives around Asheville, doesn't he? Is he somewhere in that vicinity? And I hit him up. I said, dude, do you live anywhere in the neighborhood? He's like, I'm about an hour away. I'm closer to a place called Greenville, South Carolina. I was like, that's cool. I've never heard of that. Or, I've heard of it, but I just had never been there. And so, long story short, I went down. I stayed at a hotel Wednesday night because I just wasn't sure when I was going to get in. It was like an 8-hour drive. 7.5, 8 hours. I took my old sweet time. Going down, I took 95 to Richmond, then 85 cutting over, and I don't really know where I was at a certain point in time. I was just following the Waze instructions, and it got me there, and I stayed at a hotel, and I did some work on Thursday morning and afternoon. I had some loose ends to tie up, and then I went over Thursday late afternoon to visit my friend John Heron, a.k.a. Johann Sebastian Herring III. And dude, we had a blast. First of all, he lives in a really cool place called Traveler's Rest. Traveler's Rest. It's like 10 minutes away from downtown Greenville. There's also a college there, Furman University, which I had heard of before. I know many people that have gone there, or at least a few. And I was like, I didn't know that was outside Greenville. So you just learn a thing or two. You remember, it's like, wow, there's so many interesting parts of this country that I have not explored, and this is definitely one of them. So I go hang out with John. We connect. His mom lives right down the street. She's amazing. We caught up for a little bit there. It was nice to see her after 25 plus years. But we just we fell right back into it. It's like there was never a day between us. Like, I love it when you reconnect with an old friend like that, and it's like a lot of time has passed. In a true sense, no time has passed. Like, you just pick it up right where you left off. And we just had so much to discuss. The hardest part about this meeting up with John is we ended up going downtown to Greenville, and like the hardest part was each of us had so much to share and discuss, and we would like jump on each other's ideas, and it was like there was no structure to our conversation. We started out on one thing, then he'd jump in, he'd say something, I'd react, and it's like we have so many things we have to share and just explain. What have we been up to the past 25 years, dude? Wow. It turns out quite a bit for both of us. So we got through. We had some beers. We slugged some brews down Greenville. Beautiful downtown. Greenville, South Carolina, sorry. Check it out, people. There's a waterfall in the middle of town. There's a waterfall in the middle of town. There's like a bike and running trail that extends for miles and miles. If we had been really ambitious, we could have ridden a bike from Traveler's Rest to Greenville. It's like a 20-mile bike ride. I don't know if I could hack that. But, it was a cool little neighborhood, dude. I was just like dug it. I was like, wow, We went up. One of the places we went was at a rooftop bar. You got to like survey the whole scene. Over in the distance, you could see the mountains, and down in the cutting right through the middle of the city is this river. And then there's this amazing waterfall. There's a footbridge that goes over. It spans it. Of course, that's like a picturesque selfie location. So I can't tell you how impressed I was with the city of Greenville, Greenville, South Carolina. I want to go back there. I must go back. I must return to scope that city out because I only had a limited time. We went to a few locations, a few brewhas, and I did go to a candy store, get some candy cigarettes and a cowtail. But I know there's a lot more to explore. Ooh, you know what else was cool? We only passed by. We saw it. There's a minor league baseball team in Greenville, South Carolina. I believe they're affiliated with the Boston Red Sox because the whole stadium, which is brick and it's right downtown, it's beautiful and it's amazing. And it has the green monster. It has like a mini green monster, just like the real green monster. It's a really... I don't know how I hadn't heard about this city before, dude. I mean, I heard about it. I just never thought of it as something that I would ever want to go to, but holy moly. The town square is picturesque and beautiful and walkable and livable. There was music. There were people hanging out. I mean, it was rad. And I got to go back. So this thing gets off to a great start. Hanging out with John, having a blast, catching up. Stayed up really late into the wee hours of the morning, shooting the baloney. And he showed me some of his old comic books. He gave me a pack. He gifted me a pack of baseball cards that he had wrapped up. And he hasn't looked at these things in a long time. And he wouldn't let me, first of all, reject such a generous gift. I don't know what baseball cards are in there. And I don't want to, just take them from him. But he said, no, these are all yours. I got to get them off my hands. Okay. But he's also duct taped them up, so we didn't want to open them up and look at them. He said, whatever's in here, they're yours. Truthfully, they're not mine. So what I'm going to do is, in a future episode of Raff's Brain, that'll be primarily of value on the YouTube channel, I'm going to unbox those cards and do a live reveal. I'll record the reveal. It won't be a live broadcast, but that'll be fun. And then I have some apps and things we can use to assess the value, and I'll get some little plastic sleeves for them and take inventory and make sure John understands what he had in that collection. So that'll be a lot of fun. It was just such a great time, and I mean, just a reminder how fortunate I've been in life to meet amazing people and stay in touch with people. And we were talking about, in some strange way, the way that technology enables us to keep in touch with people that we might have lost touch with otherwise. If truth be told, we didn't have cell phones and Facebook and easy, means of staying connected. John's the type of friend that I probably maybe would have lost touch with, right? He went his way, I went mine after high school. We kind of did our own thing. I'm not sure if it would have been as easy to reconnect or find each other. So that's a win for technology, dude. And it was really fun. I'll say one last thing about that opening leg of the tour. I was about a week out from this trip teasing the OG text chain. So Nate Dogg, Code H, Johann Sebastian, Herring the Third, and Riff Raff were on the chat. That's us. And I was hey fellas, I have something really exciting that I'm doing a week out from now. I'm gonna upload some photographs that are gonna blow your mind. I was really building this up. And then on my drive over to see John, I was recording some little selfie videos, just trying to tease the moment. Fellas, I'm about half an hour away from this extraordinary moment that I can't wait to share with you. Let's call it a celebrity encounter of sorts. So it's just kind of building up. And Nate Dogg and Code H, of course, were not aware of what was happening. So they were getting amped up, getting excited about it. John, of course, knew I was coming, but he played along. And then when I finally got there, we gave John the camera, and it was like from his perspective inside his house when I knocked on the door and I arrived. I fell to my knees. He's alive. He's alive. This is a guy, John Heron, who we believe exists, but we had never, I don't think even the guys in our, I don't think even the guys on the OG list have seen him in decades. So I was able to verify his physical existence. He's real, in the flesh, man. And that was a lot of fun. And we are committed to reconnecting again much sooner than 27 years or whatever it's been. We got to get the OGs together for a trip down to Duck, North Carolina, potentially, or something. We got to pull it together, make it happen. Because there's just too much fun that flows from those experiences. There's just so much incredible memories together. We grew up together, man. That's the thing. And it's like in that old Stand By Me closing shot. The friends you have growing up. I don't know. I don't remember the quote exactly. Somebody help me with the quote. Stand By Me, closing shot, Richard Dreyfuss in the car. He's recounting the old friends, and he's like talking about where they did, what happened to them. And one of them died. River Phoenix character died. He said something like, the friends you have growing up are the best ones you'll ever have. Something like that. Come on, people, you know the quote. It really brings a tear to your eye, but there's so much truth to it. So much truth to it. You never have friends like you do when you're a kid. Damn, does anybody? Or something like that. It's a really classic quote that I can't remember off the top of my brain. I'll look it up. I'll put it in the comments and we can reminisce. Maybe I'll try to I'll drop a link to a video clip from that movie. If you haven't seen Stand By Me, you are missing out. This is probably one of, if not the best, with the exception and maybe rival of Shawshank Redemption, one of the greatest adaptations of Stephen King's work. The Body, from 4 seasons collection of short stories. It was like a novella, I think is what they call that. Oh my gosh. Stand By Me. It had such an extraordinary cast. Corey Haim was in that. River Phoenix. A couple other cats. Oh, good times, good times. All right. So I then woke up and I had to get over to pick my wife up from the airport at Asheville. So Greenville to Asheville, we're looking at about an hour. Pretty twisty, turny roads, bro. Like the highways there, they reminded me of West Virginia. There are definitely mountains and hills populating the geography. So I dig it. I like being an active driver. I don't like those flat drives where you're just like barely keeping your eyes open because you're just bored. Very green, very plush. Asheville Airport is a rinky-dink little airport, but it's really nice. I don't mean that in a negative sense. I mean it's accessible, easy in, easy out. I'd say one limiting factor, because I knew she was arriving around a certain time, I, of course, want to be early. You never want to be late. When my wife's involved, man, she is punctual. And I don't want to be not there when she's there. So the problem with the Asheville airport, it's not a problem. It's just it's the lack of a feature. There's no like place where you to park and wait. Like a lot of airports, they have. Maybe I missed it, by the way. If that's the case, bad. It's like my bad, But I think it wasn't there. Many airports have a place where you're like going to pull over and wait, a waiting area, a designated place to hang until the flight arrives. I didn't see that. I had to loop around the thing like 4 or 5 times. I got a little creative at some point. I went to an employee parking lot that was only accessible if you had a card, and it had that, gate hand. And I was able to kind of weasel in there and park outside the gate until someone wanted to leave the lot. Then I had to get out of their way. But that helped me kill like another 5 to 7 minutes. Long story short, I pick her up. We go to the walkthrough of, we go to Warren Wilson College for the walkthrough. That goes really smoothly. You know, it's all set up outside. It's going to be a beautiful, you can tell this is going to be just a beautiful event. Then we go to the hotel in downtown Asheville. Again, it's like 15 miles or 10 miles outside or away from Warren Wilson. That was my first time to Asheville, and I'll be very honest, because that's what I am on this show. I'm honest. My initial reflections on both Greenville and Asheville were very positive. That whole area is money in the bank. I love it. There must be a name for that. There's got to be a name for that region of the country. If there's not, we got to come up with one. The Golden Zone or whatever. I mean, just make it up, right? But it's really nice. I just think maybe it was by the circumstance too. My friend John in Greenville just planted that seed in my head. He's like, Raff, you're gonna love Asheville. It's Beer City, USA, baby. They got so many great little breweries there. It's a good vibe. You're gonna love it. But Greenville he is biased. He lives right down the street. He lives in Travelers Rest, which is also a funky little, like 3 or 4 block town. I want to go back and check that out because we didn't really get to do much there in Travelers Rest proper. So I'm game to hit that place up. But he kind of planted the kernel. He's like, I don't want to bias you, but I just think I think you're going to, upon reflection, you're going to go back. You're going to go, man, Greenville is just a step above. And look, this is not at all an indictment or a downer or anything against Asheville, which is a beautiful and fun and funky. I would call it almost like a Portland-esque type of vibe, a Denver-ish type of vibe, if that works. That was my sense of it. But Greenville, I don't even know there's no comparison. That town was off the hook. Aesthetically, never seen a town so beautiful. A city that is with a river running right to the middle, with a waterfall, and people in kayaks out there. And there's like, how is that possible? The jogging trail. Anyway, going to Asheville, within 15 minutes, I texted my friend John. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Greenville's just got a little bit of a nudge here. I'll let you know more as the week goes on, because I was there for several days. And I got to say, like, Asheville did have a lot of great breweries. Beer City, USA, dude. Wicked Weed. Are you kidding? Pernicious. Wicked Weed Pernicious is elite IPA, man. It might be the very best. It's definitely a top 3 IPA in my list. It might be my very favorite. I slam those left and right when I'm down in the Outer Banks. But making a sort of trek to Wicked Weed headquarters right there in Asheville, it was nice. Now, there's also something down the street called Wicked Weed Emporium, or what was it called? Wicked Weed here's the thing. This is where it was where they do all their sour drinks. I'm gonna look it up, man. I took a picture of it yesterday. Wicked Weed, the sour land of the sour mash or whatever. I'll tell you in a second because I took a picture of it. Wicked Weed, here it is. The picture's coming up. Funkatorium. You ever been to the Wicked Weed Funkatorium? It's right down the street from the main Wicked Weed branch. But just a couple blocks down, you got the Wicked Weed Funkatorium. The Funkatorium's all about the sour beer. And I will just confess to you, I am a fan of everyone doing what they want. And as far as beers, you can have any type you'd like, anytime, any variety. I'm okay with it. But my personal own palate has not developed a taste for any sour beer. And I didn't go to the Funkatorium. I took a picture of it, and I've just basically said we could nuke that. I don't mean that. I'm just being a jerk in some ways, having fun, man. You know, it's just not my jam. As much as I love the Wicked Weed, Pernicious IPA, and some other varieties they had there. By the way, we also ate there. It's like a gastro pub. Had some pretzels and fried chicken sandwich. Ooh, that hit. It was beautiful, beautiful. But the Funkatorium, just not my jam, brah. I don't want it. I don't want those sour beers up in my face. Get them out of here. So that was kind of fun. And then we also went to a brewery in another one. I can't remember the name because I'm terrible. I think it was called Burial Brewery. This place, of all the ones, I mean, in terms of the experience of visiting a brewery, Burial Brewery in Asheville, North Carolina is off the hook. The aesthetics are crazy. There's a picture of Burt Reynolds and what's that creature from Goonies? Sloth. Dude, whoever painted that is a master. Burt Reynolds with the stash. It looks like he got fresh off the set of Cannonball Run. Just this classic grin, cheerful Burt Reynolds in his prime. Arm in arm with Sloth from Goonies. Like they're best pals. Now, I don't know who put those two together, but I love it. And I took a lot of selfies on that. I'm sure that's been like one of the most popular selfie sites in the entire town. So kudos to Burial Brewing. And they just got a nice little scene there. And they got a really cool setup. All the, what do you call those things? The taps. All the taps for their beer have like farm, what do you call these things? Like a scythe, a rake, a shovel. It's like every tap isn't a, commercial tap head. It has garden equipment. It's just a cool vibe, man. You gotta go. You gotta check it out. They have some decent food, little cheese plate, little hummus plate. We enjoyed that. And their IPAs are off the chain. And the names of their beers are very distinct and long. And I don't remember the names because they're so long. But they're all very good. We had a great time. So, anyway, I've been rambling a little bit as I'm prone to do on a Drive and Jive. My key takeaways so far are Greenville is slightly superior to Asheville, and that might cause some debate. I don't want to get anyone, I don't want to make anyone upset here that has a bias in favor of Asheville. If you do, I'd love to hear why. What is it that you like more about Asheville than Greenville? Hit me up. Maybe I missed something. I'm just saying, like on a design and layout and tourist experience, my impression was a little more immediately positive at Greenville. But then again, like Asheville has a leg up on the breweries. I mean, we hit some breweries up in Greenville. They seem pretty good too. So I don't know, man. That's just one of the takeaways from this experience. On Saturday, we went over to Warren Wilson. My wife gave an extraordinary commencement address. It was a great event, start to finish. Very cool, fun vibe. Her theme was, the theme of her talk was resilience. And she's been through a lot the past several years. Breast cancer, the nomination and confirmation process of becoming the Archivist of the United States, then being unceremoniously dismissed from that role back earlier this year. And so she's, I've been riding shotgun for this whole experience. It was for her to hear her talk about it and share with these, 200 or so graduating students, letting them know that life is going to throw punches at you. This is one of the good days. You're graduating, but get ready, because you're gonna start feeling the heat, the pressure, the stress. Life does not always take the turns that you expect or anticipate. But in the depths of those experiences, the challenges, the tragedies, unexpected turns and twists in life, it is from those that you gain the strength to persevere and not only survive, but thrive in a way that you perhaps never thought before possible. That's the gist of her conversation. I might upload it. I did record it. I was in the front row, so it's not the best vantage point, but I did record her talk. I might throw that up as a bonus episode of Raff's Brain. Maybe I'll do that. Why not? Weave it into the content. And then I could link to it in this episode in case you want to check it out. Highly recommended. One of the best commencement addresses I've heard in my entire life. And ladies and gentlemen, I've heard many. I am biased. It's my wife, obviously. I'm biased, but I'll tell you what. There's a good, uplifting, powerful message. And people need to hear that more than ever, man. Because I think a lot of people sometimes, especially younger people, and I get it, I've been there, something happens in life, doesn't go your way early, you're right out of the gate, you're coming out of college, and you're like ready to crush, and then something doesn't pan out the way you expected. What are you going to do, fold? No. You got to buckle down, stiff upper lip, let's go, lean back into that, push forward. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So that was cool. There was a little reception afterwards. That was fun. Went out later that night to dinner with the president and the hosts, the guests, the Gleam family, David and Valerie. Had a great dinner at this little French restaurant. I think it was called Rendezvous. It was called French Comfort Food. This wasn't like a she, oui, monsieur. It was a very down-to-earth, really great tasting food, scrumptious, onion soup, mussels. I had to get it. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for marketing. They had this thing called PBR mussels, which uses Pabst Blue Ribbon as part of their sauce. PBR mussels. But the PBR stood for something else. I don't remember what that was off the top of my head. It was something redneck. PBR redneck. And I was like, okay, I got to try this. I mean, when in Rome. Good times. What else? On Sunday, that was Saturday. On Sunday, we got to go on some hikes with our friends, the Gleams, and they both work at the college. They're the reason why Colleen got the invitation. Valerie and Colleen have been friends since they were 3 years old. Valerie was in her wedding. She was the matron of honor. She'd been married before Colleen, so that was why we have that title. Anyway, just giving you some context. We went on a little hike around the Warren Wilson College. Very beautiful, scenic, unique landscape for a college. They give faculty housing, which is pretty sweet, and that was a very nice home that Valerie and David are living in. I got to interview David. David is an art history professor and special assistant to the president of the college. And he graciously broke out some old Japanese prints from the 19th and 20th century. He's an art collector. And I interviewed him for an episode of Raff's Brain, Riffing with Raff. I might put that episode up in the near future. I got to edit a little bit of that because I had multiple clips. There's a little show and tell. He was walking me through some of the prints that he owns. It was very cool little conversation. So look, be on the lookout for that. Riffing with Raff. And then we went out again, back to Asheville, had a blast. Oh yeah, man. So it's been a great day. Woke up this morning, got out. This is a kind of a funny thing. Now coming back from Asheville, it's about 6.5 hour drive. I'm finishing it up right now. I'm down here in Vienna. I'm basically now on 66, coming back into the city. You come back from Asheville on 81 primarily. That's not a fun road, folks. 81 through Virginia on a Monday morning is jam-packed with 18-wheelers, dude. And by the way, multiple oversized trucks. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's a lot of economic activity. There's big houses being built or bridge. I don't know what's going on, but multiple oversized trucks. You still got to pass an oversized truck. The semis that are the normal size semis, they have to pass the oversized truck. That's not an easy thing to navigate. You got to be very cautious. I'm just telling you, as much fun as I had coming down, and not really down, 95 is terrible too. I think here's the hierarchy of roads around this neighborhood known as Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, whatever. 95 is trash, always packed. You got to be there. I just only want to be on 95 at 3 to 4 in the morning when no one else is there. Otherwise, you better pray that you're going the right direction where you get access to the HOV lanes, or you're just going to be stuck in traffic for hours. Bank on it. Plan on it. And those HOVs are costly. So it just raises your experience, man. It raises the price of existence. So 95, probably my least favorite highway in the universe. Although I like where it goes, like DC, go to Richmond. This is the whole East Coast of America, son. You go up, you get Baltimore, Philly, New York. I mean, you've got Boston up a little bit higher, right? Those things have to happen. You have to appreciate that. So 95 is a good road in the sense that I like where it lets me go, but the experience of getting there is never a pleasant one. Now, 85, which goes east and west, and I was going west. I love that road. I don't think I've ever been on that road before. So going down 95, not so good. But outside of Richmond, boom, hit up 85 west. Bam! I'm loving it. I'm loving life. I was listening to Guns N' Roses. Dude, you have no idea. We gotta talk about this. Well, let me finish up what I'm saying about the roads. Then we'll talk about some of the things I listened to on the drive, and then we'll wrap it up and we'll brace ourselves for the future. All right, so 95 sucks. 85 is awesome. Going back, I had to come up 81, and that's trash. It's not trash per se. It's just crowded, man. It's crowded. So if I had to rank these roads, now I'm on 66, which we all know sucks. It's trash. Don't say trash. Why am I so negative, man? Why are you negative about these roads? These roads enable you to get to and from the places you want to be. Why can't you just be grateful for the superhighway system of the United States, which is unparalleled in its ability to empower individuals to go live their lives and go do the things they want to do. Be grateful. Don't be angry about it. I think what happens is I get anxious around massive crowds of cars, and I also really don't like traffic. It upsets me at a visceral level. I've got to learn how to reprocess that and approach it from a posture of gratitude. I'm just lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be in a car, to have the freedom to go across and travel places, and occasionally I'm going to hit pockets of traffic. That should be a moment of joy and levity. Relax. Take a deep breath. Don't get all bent out of shape. You know? Spin that attitude around, my friend. Be more positive and optimistic. So I'm getting better at that. I have to say, I didn't hit any real significant patches of traffic on this trip. That's a massive positive. But I can still acknowledge that I have preferences, right? Even as I appreciate the interstate highway system of America, I can, within that context, still identify the roads that I value more than others. And I'm just telling you, of the ones I've been on this trip, 85 is a hidden gem. I love it. I want to go back just to drive on that stretch again. It was very peaceful, very serene. 95, not so much. 81, not so much. 66, not so much. But 1 out of 4 ain't bad. Okay. Now, how do I entertain myself on such a lengthy road trip? You know, people, when I tell them I'm driving, I don't want to take a 1.5 hour flight when I can make a 7.5 hour drive. What's wrong with you? No. Here's the upside. When you drive, you can take more bags of junk. Like, I had 3 bags. I had my work backpack, I had a suitcase, I had a duffel bag with athletic gear. I mean, I was prepared for any situation. I can't do that if I'm just limited to 1 bag on an airplane. Also, my wife had this really giant gown, you know, the formal attire you wear at a commencement ceremony with the hat and the hood and the robe and the tassels and all that. She owns that. She's very distinguished. Anyway, I got to carry that. It's in the car. It's in the back seat. And that was appreciated because otherwise she would have had to pack that up in a suitcase, get all wrinkled, messed up. So I had to bring some value in a different way. Now, I will confess, it is a long drive. Going down was a lot longer than coming back. And there are a lot of different ways to kill the time. I listened to a bunch of podcasts. I'm a big podcast fan. Theo Vaughn, Gary Vee, a lot of interview shows, a lot of some Bitcoin shows, you know, trying to always keep up on the crypto news. But then I listen to some Fish, the P-Fish, man, that they always keep me going, keep me awake, keep me motivated. Especially if you just hit up an entire show from the late 90s when they were just at their peak creatively. And it's also fun when you hit that up if you don't know exactly what they're going to play. It's almost like you're experiencing it for the first time, even though you've usually heard most of the songs before. When they play them live, there's always a different experience. Oh, I guess there's going to be a closed road coming up here. I got to watch out. Arlington County's got some utility work. Love it. Fix those utilities, baby. But then I did something else on the way down, which really was so fun. I have to confess to you, when I was growing up, I used to listen a lot to the popular music of that era, like Aerosmith, Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, hard rock, if you will. Not really hard, more like glam rock. AC/DC, Poison, Motley Crue. But I will say to you without hesitation that my favorite band from that era is Guns N' Roses. Oh yeah. Axl Slash, Izzy Duff, Steven Adler. That's the original 5. There's been some changes. There's been some transformations over the time, but they reunited, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer. Axl, Slash, Duff, and then they kind of rounded out with some other folks, kind of rotating drummer. They got some woman on keyboard. So anyway, they're definitely reunited, and back in action. They sound good. We've seen them several times in their most recent iteration. But what's fun to do, and what's really informative, frankly, I haven't, outside of the standards, like Sweet Child O' Mine, and Paradise City, and Welcome to the Jungle. Those are the songs you might hear if you're just listening to classic radio, right? Classic rock. But if you take a moment, the Appetite for Destruction album is extraordinary. The sequencing is perfect. Every song follows the last. It flows. It moves you. It's like the whole album is telling this remarkable story. I don't know what that story is, but but it's so good because at the end of one song, I can anticipate the next song. I know what's coming up. And it just, you get triggered when you hear the end of a certain song. You know what's up next, and that's fun. So I listened to Appetite for Destruction, and that's, of all the albums, my favorite. It was my real introduction to hard rock as a kid. I remember listening to it and just thinking, this is the greatest cacophony of noise that I've ever heard in my entire life. And I actually went through multiple cassette tapes, wore the tapes out. The tapes were warped, and I just listened to that album so much as a kid. So it was fun to re-listen. It's been a while since I listened to it, like straight up, oh, look out, like that. It's been a while. So that was a lot of fun. And then I got a little funky and crazy with the Cheese Whiz. I just hit, I said, hey, Amazon, please, or Alexa, whatever. I listen to my music on Amazon. I don't have Spotify. Sorry, I know I'm a loser. I don't have a paid subscription. I do have a paid subscription to Amazon. I have music tracks. So I guess I said, hey, give me a GNR mix. And that is when my mind was broken. Because yes, Use Your Illusions 1 and 2 were heavy in that rotation. There are some songs on there that I just completely forgot about. And they're epic. Guns N' Roses is awesome. I'm going to tell you one of my songs that I hadn't heard in probably over a decade. Estranged. I want to say it's Use Your Illusions 2. I don't know, maybe 1. It's definitely in that package. And it is unbelievable. That's got to be one of the least appreciated works of art from that group. Oh, gosh, it gives me chills just thinking about it. What'll happen to us, baby? Guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. So nobody ever told you, baby. Yeah, I mean, that part is awesome. And then it just has so many movements, and it's like slow and quiet. It's hard. And then at the end, Slash just crushes this solo. It's just like, yeah! I was driving. I was on fire, man. I couldn't stop. I almost think that this is going to be heresy to some. I think the ending guitar licks and solo action of Estranged it hits even stronger than the end of November Rain, which is in itself insanely amazing. So I don't know how you ever rank that, but Estranged has got to be on your list. I'll drop a link in the show notes. You tell me what you think. I don't think that song ever got enough love, probably because the video is so whacked. But that's another story. As I pull into my driveway, I just appreciate all of you for letting me rant and rave and riff on this journey. It's been an epic trip. I'm so grateful to be back, and I'm looking forward to doing more of it. And I can't wait to go back to Greenville and Asheville again and again and again. That part of the country merits a lot more of my time and attention, folks, and maybe yours as well. So if you haven't been there, go. immediately. Well, when your time permits. Don't just, sacrifice your future. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great time. We'll see you next time on Raff's Brain.